The Reconstruction Era, which began in 1865 after the end of the American Civil War, was one of the most pivotal and controversial periods in U.S. history. It lasted until 1877 and had two main objectives: rebuilding the devastated Southern states and integrating over 4 million newly freed African Americans into American society. However, this process was anything but smooth, as it was marked by violence, political conflict, and deeply entrenched racism. In the immediate aftermath of the war, the South was in ruins, its cities destroyed, its economy collapsed. At the same time, the country faced the monumental challenge of reshaping a society that had relied on slavery for centuries. To address these issues, 3 key amendments to the U.S. Constitution were introduced. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery across the United States. The 14th Amendment granted citizenship and equal protection under the law to all individuals, including former slaves. The 15th Amendment gave Black men the right to vote. While these amendments promised equality, their implementation faced fierce resistance. White supremacist groups like the Ku Klux Klan emerged, using violence and terror to suppress Black Americans and prevent them from exercising their newfound rights. Simultaneously, Southern states enacted Black codes to restrict the freedoms of African Americans, attempting to maintain a racial hierarchy even after slavery was abolished. Despite these challenges, there were significant successes during Reconstruction. Black Americans began to participate in politics, with some being elected to state legislatures and even Congress. Schools were established for African Americans, and Black communities started to rebuild their lives with newfound hope and resilience. However, these achievements were short-lived. Over time, many Northerners lost interest in addressing the South's issues, and federal support for Reconstruction weakened. The end of the Reconstruction era came in 1877 with the Compromise of 1877, a political agreement that resolved a disputed presidential election. In exchange for securing the presidency for Rutherford B. Hayes, federal troops were withdrawn from the South. This marked the collapse of Reconstruction efforts and left Southern states to govern themselves. The result was the rapid rise of Jim Crow laws, which enforced racial segregation and institutionalized systemic oppression for nearly a century. The Reconstruction era highlights both the possibilities and the limitations of efforts to create a more equitable society. While it achieved significant legislative milestones, the period also exposed the deep-rooted challenges of combating racism and inequality. Its legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance and persistence in the ongoing fight for justice and equality. The Reconstruction era also brought economic challenges and social shifts. Freed African Americans sought to establish independent lives, often working as sharecroppers, an exploitative system that tied them to landowners in a cycle of debt and poverty. Land reform, which could have provided Black families with economic independence, was largely abandoned, leaving many to struggle under conditions reminiscent of slavery. At the same time, the federal government established agencies like the Freedmen's Bureau, which aimed to assist freed slaves by providing education, health care, and job opportunities. However, the Bureau was underfunded and faced fierce opposition, limiting its ability to create lasting change. Cultural tensions also intensified during Reconstruction. Southern pride and resentment over the loss of the war fueled the spread of lost cause narratives, which glorified the Confederacy and downplayed the horrors of slavery. These myths shaped public memory for generations and undermined the achievements of Reconstruction by fostering continued racial prejudice. Ultimately, the Reconstruction era was a time of great promise and profound setbacks. While it laid the groundwork for civil rights movements in the 20th century, its premature end left much of its work unfinished. Understanding this period is essential to grappling with the ongoing challenges of equality and justice in America today.